Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to a book haul, the first of this year. There should have been another one before that because I did acquire some books previous to these, but I just wasn't in the mood to film back then, so I just sort of forgot about that. But recently I did acquire a bunch of books and I decided that I want to talk to you about them, so here we are. The first of these books that I'm going to talk about is actually unrelated to the rest of the pile, but I still want to talk about it to you, and that is Blood Witch by Susan Dennard. This is book 3 in the Witchlands series, and in this one we're going to follow Aedwin, who is a blood witch, but the story in general follows two witches, and that is Iseult and Safi, who are Thread Witch and Truth Witch. And in the first book they get into a bit of a trouble, and once the information about Safi being a Truth Witch goes out, of course they're sort of pursued because who wouldn't want a Truth Witch? Well, you know, a witch that you can tell who's lying and who's not. Yeah, that would be fabulous to have and to own. At least some people think so. So they go on a run and they stumble across these two guys who are also witches, and their stories sort of get entangled, and it's just a lot of fun. I really like the friendships between the two girls, the friendship between the two girls. It's a lot of fun, and they just sort of are really great together. I haven't started reading this book yet because I do have to reread The Wind Witch, which is book 2 in the series. I don't think I'm going to read Truth Witch, maybe that one as well, but yeah, I need to refresh my mind sort of to what happened in that one before I continue on, but I'm really looking forward to doing that. The next books are a part of my trip to England, where I was recently. I went there with, you know, thinking that I was going to buy a few books related to BookTube SFF Awards, because I do sort of want to read a few books of that shortlist, not all of them, but some of them. And honestly, I can say that I didn't buy one of those books and that it was on my list. And I also had a good intention of not buying too many books, but that didn't work out. So I have a pile of books here that I want to talk about. And yeah, I'm just, when it comes to book buying, I'm out of control. I don't even enjoy reading books right now all that much, but that doesn't stop me from buying them and adding to my already big TBR. But anyways, so let's not judge too much and just enjoy the rest of the video. So the first book that I got is Anthony Ryan's The Empire of Ashes, which is book 3 in the Memories, Draconis Memoriam. And this is the third book following The Waking Fire and The Legion of Flame. I have all 3 books, haven't read them yet. I started book 1 last year, I think, but I just for some reason put it down, and now I have all 3 of them, so I really have no reason. And I'm also really looking forward to Anthony Ryan's next book that comes out in the summer, and I really shouldn't be talking about it right now, but I really like his Raven cycle, Raven, what are they called? Raven Shadow books? I'm not sure what they're called, but I really enjoyed that trilogy and it's going to continue on, so I'm really looking forward to that. But before then I might get to this trilogy, I'm not sure. Anyways, in these books we get into this world where there are dragons, and each dragon has different blood, and depending on the color of the blood, people who are able to ingest that, some of them can do that, and they get different powers, I guess. And as it turns out, the bloodlines are weakening, so this might cause problems for this one country that we follow, because they're warring against another empire, and since their people are losing their abilities or they're weakening anyways, that might cause problems in the war department. So there's actually information that there might be another kind of dragon out there, and I think they're sort of launching an expedition to do that. This might not be a correct summary, but I don't really look into synopsises too much anymore, so yeah, do check on Goodreads if you want to be sure if that's exactly how it goes. But anyways, that's the first book that I got in England, and I'm really happy because I just love Anthony Ryan, so hopefully my mood changes and I will get to those books soon. I would definitely appreciate that. Then the next one I have is Sebastian de Castell's Charmcaster. This is book 3, following Soul Spellslinger, and the second one, whichever it is. The only reason I bought this book is not because I already started reading the series, although yeah, I did sort of start it, but anyways, I do plan to read it soon. But it was the reason because it has sprayed edges, and the first two books that I own also have those, and there were definitely some versions of the book that I saw that didn't have that, so I just said, you know what, I have it here right now, let's just get it. So this follows a boy who is supposed to face his first magical duel, but the problem is that he sort of lost his magical abilities, so he has to sort of resort and use his cunning abilities to actually get through that. And then from what I understand, he also gets another opportunity, and he might decide to pursue that, I guess. I've heard great things about this series, especially I think Sam from Sam's Nonsense really enjoyed these, so I really hope that I will get to them pretty soon. Depending on, you know, other plans, there are some readathons coming up that I would really like to participate in, and hopefully my mood will allow that, so I'll see if I can squeeze them in or something like that. I don't know. Then another book that's pretty popular on BookTube, especially in the science fiction and fantasy channels or there, is Josiah Bancroft's Sailing Ascents, which is book 1 in the series. The third book just came out. I'm not sure if that's, I don't think it's the last one, but anyways, I decided to get this first one and see how I like it. We follow this man who loses his wife and somehow has to travel through the Babel, the Tower of Babel to find her, and it's supposed to be different, which, you know, I'm all for that. I want to see how I feel about it, and once I do know that, I will definitely let you know, but hopefully I enjoy it. I would like to read something different. And then, silly of me, I just got, I saw this book in a bookstore and decided to get it, despite the fact that it's the 9th, I think, in the series, or 6th one, I'm not sure exactly which, but it's definitely not the first one. So, but for some reason I just thought it's a detective mystery, it probably doesn't matter whether or not I read them in order of publication, so I still might do that. And it's George Mann's The Revenant Express, which is Newbery and Hobbs investigation book. So I guess we follow these two people. The first one is Sir Maurice Newbery and his assistant Veronica Hobbs as they solve mysteries. This is an alternate world type of book. It's sort of steampunk, and there's creatures, I think there's werewolves and things like that, so I don't know, it just sounded like a lot of fun, and I decided to get it. And right now I still don't know yet because I haven't started it yet, but because I got this book, I figured, well, maybe I'll find the first one in the series and I'm gonna get that. And then I saw this one, the kids book of Newbery and Hobbs, and it says volume 1, and I figured, well, that must be the first one. And guess what, it's not. It's just a collection of short stories from these two characters, and yeah, so I still have book 1, but luckily I found it on Scribd and I'm currently listening to it, or starting to, so I will see how I like these, but I think I will. I don't know, they just sound like they might be enjoyable. This one is actually a signed edition that I got in Forbidden Planet, and really, I know that my decisions for how I buy books are maybe slightly mysterious, and I don't even understand them myself sometimes, but there you go. I also got a historical mystery thriller type of book, and that is The Fire Court by Andrew Taylor, in which we follow this man who stumbles into this mystery. There's this huge fire, and they find where the fire took place. They find this body of a woman, and his father then suddenly mysteriously dies, and he tries to figure out whether or not that is connected. So I don't know, it sounds interesting, and I thought that I would like this historical mystery type of book. And this is supposed to be a really popular author, so if anybody has read anything by him, please let me know if that is true. But yeah, I sort of started reading the first chapter and did enjoy it, so I think that the continuation is going to be just as enjoyable. The last paperback that I have is Prudence by Gail Carriger. Now, I've read the other two series by Gail Carriger, and I really enjoy them. And this is basically the last one that I have to read, I think. Or did you come up with something else? I haven't checked. But Prudence is the daughter of the characters that we follow in Parasol Protectorate. And I just decided that I really want to find out what shenanigans she comes up with. If she follows in her mother's footsteps, it's going to be a lot of fun probably. So I got book 1 in the series. So the rest of the books are hardcovers that I got, and the first one is Ann Leckie's The Raven Tower, and there was this huge sticker up there that I took off, but it's, you know, there's still some glue left, and I'll have to figure out how to get rid of that because it's going to drive me crazy. But actually this is Ann Leckie's first fantasy book. She's well known for her ancillary books, and I've never read those. I've heard great things about it, and I always plan to get to them eventually, but hey, why not start here? So basically this is a book about gods and humans and gods abandoning people and mystery again. I'm not exactly sure what this is about, obviously, but despite that, I'm really looking forward to it. It has a huge font, so it should be a quick read, and I hope this book is as good as everything else that she has written. So once I get to it, I will let you know how I feel about it. The next book that I have is one that has generated quite a buzz, and that is Black Leopard and Black Leopard Red Wolf by Marlon James. I honestly can't say that I've heard any reviews of it, so I still don't know how people feel about it, but it's supposed to be out there and different, so I'm really looking forward to giving it a try. I do not know what the synopsis is about, and I honestly don't really care. I've heard Marlon James talk about it, but I just sort of erased it because I guess I want to be surprised. This is a special edition from Foyles. It has gold thread edges, and it's also signed and numbered, which is why I decided to get with this edition instead of the other signed editions that I saw in other bookstores. Really, I am quite that shallow, yes. The next book that I have is The Ruin of Kings by Jenn Lyons. This is also a book that was quite heavily promoted by Tor, and I actually have an arc of it, but I just never got around to reading it. My reading with it's just, it's such an obstacle, really. But actually, the first time that I saw anything about this book was when I stumbled onto Jenn Lyons' Instagram page, and she does bullet journaling, and she has beautiful spreads, and that's how I actually came across the information about this book. And I saw it in the store, and it's also a signed edition, or, well, has one of these book plates in it anyways. This follows a boy who is quite poor, and then somehow he gets into a bit of trouble, and the royal family notices him, and they claim that he's the lost heir, and he soon realizes that that is not necessarily a great position to be in, and there's also prophecy and just demons and everything, and it sounds great. I started reading it, but I never continued on, so I will have to do that soon because I feel sort of guilty for, you know, bad for asking for an arc and then not reading it, but sadly that has happened a few times lately. Well, not lately, a while back, but just I have to get to those. But yeah, another great book, hopefully. I also got The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, which is another popular book that has generated a lot of talk here on BookTube. This is Samantha Shannon's latest book, also signed, and it follows a lot of female characters. I've heard that it's pretty feministic and interesting and out there, and I only ever read one of her books, and it's The Bone Season, and I did love it a lot. I never continue on with the series simply because I know that it's supposed to be 7 books, and I didn't feel like waiting for, you know, the publication time between those books, and I do plan to read that series, but once more books are out. But this is a standalone, I heard, and I decided to get it. Don't know exactly what it's about, as is the case with most of these books. It's a huge one, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be a fast read. I've heard good things about it so far, so I'm looking forward to actually giving it a try and seeing how I feel about it. And the last book that I'm going to talk about is again one that really piqued my interest, and it might be the one that interests me the most out of all of this, and that is The Binding by Bridget Collins. I'm pretty sure that you have heard about it. It's a beautiful book, and it has a beautiful, beautiful hardback cover without the dust jacket as well. And this is actually a story about a boy who receives an invitation to become an assistant or apprentice to a bookbinder, and bookbinding in this world is connected to storing your memories into books, and that's exactly what bookbinders do. So if you want to get rid of a memory, forget something that happened, you just sort of store it in a book and they do that for you, which sounds pretty dangerous because then you forget what happened and some other people can stumble onto your memories and know more than you do, I guess. And then the interesting part is that this boy stumbles across a book with his name on it. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this one. As I said, this might be the one that tempts me the most, so I might do that, and I will definitely let you know how I feel about it again. And it's also a signed copy, and it's just a gorgeous book. So yeah. Anyways, that's all the books that I have for you in this video. Let me know down in the comments if you have read any of these and how you felt about them, or if you want to read any of these. Which of these excites you the most. Anyways, thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next one. Bye!